All right. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to see so many of you have had the opportunity to go through the first lesson, which is amazing. So thank you, everyone. Again, if there are any questions, please feel free to contact me. You guys have my email, so feel free to send me an email if there are any questions so far. So far, lesson one, we covered the basics. A lot of the things that maybe some of you already knew, some of the things maybe you weren't aware of. But today we're going to keep moving forward. And today we're going to talk about two quick things. So the first one's going to be just your mouse. We talked a little bit about it in the first video, so this is just going to be a reminder. And I have a handout that I will include for you guys so that you can see it. And it will look like this. So this is a wireless mouse, a wireless computer mouse. I'm sure many of you have one of these, or maybe you have one with a wire. And again, this is just really to remind you what we talked about last time. So left click, which is most often used, right? So this side of the mouse is going to be our left click. And this is usually the one that we will use most often, right? So when you want to open up a program or perhaps an icon or anything that might require, when you see an icon like this, right? You can click it once, you can click it a second time, but if you want to open it, right, it's 2 clicks back to back. So we're just going to do 2 quick left clicks. So 1, 2. And that will open up the program. So it just opened up here on the other side. I have 2 monitors, so we will learn more about that. But I have 2 monitors going on. So again, we have our left click, which is going to be our most common, and then right click, which as you guys can see here, it brings up additional information about the item you click on, such as open, delete, new folder, cut, copy, paste, rename, move to, right? So right click, which is on this side, gives us more options, right? There's more things we can do. So for example, in this case, I'm going to left click and hold and then drag down to select, okay? And now that I have selected this, maybe I want to share this in an email, or maybe I want to put this in a document. So I can actually right click on top of what I've selected and see it gives me this little window with more options, right? So I can copy with formatting, edit text, export, lots of options. But in this case, we just want to copy it. So we're going to click left click, copy, and the little window disappears. But now if we open up Word, right, we're going to open up a new document. I can actually right click on this document. So we're going to right click and we're going to paste. And see right here it says paste options, right? So if I just put my mouse over it, it'll show me which options are available, right? So these are different options under Microsoft Word. So if I want to keep it exactly like I had in the other document, we can click keep text only, right? And so that'll keep it exactly the way it was. This one, which is merge formatting, will just copy the text, but it will copy it in the format that we have our document in. And then we have keep source formatting. So this will keep the font or the style of the letters, and we'll continue to paste it in that format so that you can continue to type in the same way. But in this case, we're just going to say keep text only, right? So this was copied right from this document. Okay, but we will learn more about that as we go along. And then last but not least is this little thing here in the center. It's called the scroll wheel, and this is used to go up and down on a page like this. Okay, so up, down. Now this is actually incorrect. So this is not a USB memory stick, so that's wrong. That's incorrect. So we have to change that. This is a Bluetooth. It's called a dongle. There's a funny word for you guys. So it's called a Bluetooth dongle. I'll show you. Okay, so it looks like this little guy. And these are used to connect, for example, if you have a computer that doesn't have Bluetooth, wireless mice like this one. So usually when you buy your mouse, so say you go to Best Buy or Walmart or Staples, and you go to buy a mouse like this, it will come with a USB Bluetooth dongle. So they will come together, and this is what will help this connect to the computer, right? So you put this in the computer, and then your mouse will connect to this so that you can use it wirelessly, right? So again, wireless means no wires at all, right? So because we have two, right? We have a wired computer mouse, right? And that would look like this, right? So it's got the wire. This is a wired computer mouse. They all look like this. See? They've all got the wire. And then you have wireless. And they look like this. No wires. Okay? So they connect through the USB Bluetooth dongle. Okay? And this is what you insert into your computer. Without it, of course, you can't use it, right? So, and there's just a little note. It only goes in one way. So if you're trying to put it in your computer and it's not going in, you may just have to flip it or turn it upside down, and that should work. Okay, so that's just a quick review of what we learned last week. We talked about using our mouse, and just wanted to do a quick refresh. Okay, just so you guys know. There's an on-off switch underneath. You don't have to turn your mouse off every time. Maybe if you're not going to use your computer for a while, maybe you're going on vacation, or you're going to be working a lot, maybe you can turn it off. But if you use your computer, once a week, twice a week, don't turn it off. These devices are very smart, so they will know to not use power if you're not using them, so you don't have to turn them off. Okay, so the main lesson for today is going to be actually about common features of Windows. So I will be sure to include this handout for you guys, okay? And we went over a couple of these things last time, but these are just a few more advanced, I guess a little more advanced features. Okay, so the main one right here at the top, this says desktop toolbar. Okay, and I'll read what it says, and then I'll explain to you guys what it does and all that fun stuff. So it's located on the bottom of the screen. So if you guys can see my cursor, right? Remember, this is our cursor. The toolbar is just down here. It's also called the taskbar. Okay, so this is also called the taskbar, and I'll write this here for you guys. It's called the taskbar. Okay, and you'll see pictures here right away, right? Taskbar right here, right? So this bottom piece right here at the bottom is our taskbar. So you guys will see it right here. So you can call it two ways. Desktop toolbar or taskbar are both correct terms. Okay, so they're both correct. They can both be used, and it contains all the windows as well as all the programs that are open. Okay, so to close a window or a program, you can right-click on it with the mouse and you can select close. So I'll give you guys an example. So I'm going to open iTunes, right? So I don't know if many of you guys use iTunes, but we're gonna go, okay, sorry, I'm just trying to get it going here. All right, so this is iTunes, right? It's good for music. You can get movies, music, all kinds of stuff, right? But mainly it's music. It's a music program, right? But I have it here open, okay? So I'm going to minimize the window, okay, which is just up here. So on the top left, up here, I'm going to minimize it, okay? Now, if I want to close it, if we go to the taskbar or the toolbar down here, you guys will see it's just right here at the bottom, okay? Just at the very bottom of my screen, it's right here. If I want to close it, if you guys are using Windows 7, Windows 8, or Windows 10, you can actually just put your cursor over the icon at the bottom. So these are icons. All of these are icons down here. You can just put your mouse right over it, leave it there, and this little window will pop up, this small window. If I leave my mouse on it, it will show me what that window is. See, did you guys see how that happened? Watch, I'm going to take my mouse off. I'm just going to move it off. I'm not clicking, I'm just moving it, okay? So I'm just going to move it right off, and it goes right back to what it was, okay? And this is good if you guys are working on many different things. Maybe you have maybe you're working on a document. You're also maybe doing a little of online shopping. Maybe you've got 3 documents that you're working on different programs, and maybe you want to put some music on. So this allows you to see quickly without having to click on it, just a quick view, right? Quick view, right? Just to see quickly what we have open, right? So again, I take my mouse, I take my cursor, right? So I grab my mouse, then I move my cursor, and we're going down to the icon, and I'm just leaving my cursor there. No click at all. I'm not clicking anything. Then I'm going to move my cursor over the small window, and everything disappears except for iTunes, right? Now, if I want to close it, if I want to close iTunes, I can put my mouse over it. Again, this is for anybody that's using, I believe Windows 7 can do this, but definitely Windows 8 and Windows 10, you guys can do this. Anything older, I don't think this works. But I can move my mouse, and I'm just going to go up at the top corner here. You guys will see this big red X, and I can actually just click on that. So again, right now I haven't done any clicks, no clicks at all. So we can close it 2 different ways. I can open it, okay, so I'm going to left click, and then I can go to the little X and close it. Or I can put my mouse over it, no click, just right over it, and then go to the corner here and click close. Left click, close, okay? So very simple, very straightforward, but just some of the features that you guys might already know or might be aware of that you can do on Windows, right? On features of Windows. So next, easy one, is your date and time, right? So in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, the toolbar or taskbar has the date and time. So if you double click on it with the mouse, it will open the date and time and allow you to make changes, right? So here's our date and time down here. Okay, if I leave, you guys can see if I leave my mouse, my cursor over it, there's this little window that pops up. It says July 5th, 2021, Monday. So I can actually click, so one left click, and it will open this big window, okay? So you see the time, you see the date, calendar, and then you can add stuff here to your calendar. So you can add tasks, you can add things that you have to do, any information that is important for the calendar, you can add it here, okay? Now this is Windows 10 that I am using, okay? This is Windows 10. If you're using Windows 7, Windows 8, the features may be very similar, but if you're using any other computer, perhaps you're using a MacBook or any kind of Apple computer or perhaps a Chromebook, you can double click on the date and time and it will open up more settings. Now, because this is Windows 10, you only click once. So you only need to do one left click. Now, if I do right click, okay, so this is left click, this is right click, okay? Left click, right click, okay? So right click, as you can see, it gives me more options. So you guys can see here at the bottom that Windows calls it a task bar, right? This is what we looked at earlier. So it's called a task bar, Okay, some other computers, maybe if you're using a Chromebook or something different, they may call it a toolbar. But in Windows, it is called a taskbar. And here I can change the settings of my taskbar, but we're not going to do that today. If you are using Windows 10 and you need to change the time or the date for any reason, you right-click once, and right here at the top, you will see Adjust Date or Time. Okay? But computers now are very smart, so even if you have a computer and it's not connected to the internet, it will usually be able to tell what the correct time and the correct date is. It's very impressive. I don't know how they do that, but it's very cool. Okay, moving on. So now we have the recycle bin and the trash bin. And I know that we talked about this last video. We talked about the recycle bin and the trash bin. I'm just going to bring it over here. So this is the recycle bin right here. Okay? And anytime you delete a file, whether it's a document, a picture, a video, a song, any kind of file that is on your computer that you delete on any of the Windows versions, so this could be Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, it will all go right here, okay? So the recycle bin is the small trash can icon on the desktop. So again, this right here is an icon, okay? And specifically, it's the recycle bin icon, okay? So in Windows, like I mentioned to you guys, any file that you ever delete will go here, okay? Now, if you're using a Chromebook, Chromebooks delete files immediately, so they don't have a trash bin. But on Chromebooks, you will get a notice saying, are you sure you want to delete this before you delete it? So if you're using a Chromebook, be very careful, because some of the files that you delete on a Chromebook will be gone forever. So to delete items, it's very easy, as I showed you guys before. You can choose so this is specifically on a Chromebook. You can right click and choose remove from Chrome. On Windows, you can do the same thing. So for example, I'll show you. I showed you an example last video, so I'll be very, very quick. Depending on which one you were looking to delete, you would just select it with your left click. Then you can right click and then select delete down here. Okay? Now, if you're looking to delete it quicker without having to use your mouse, perhaps, you guys will find that on your keyboard, on the right hand side of your keyboard, there's a couple of buttons, and one of them says delete. So you can actually select your file with left click and then push the delete button, okay? But we went over that last video, so I won't go into it too deeply, okay? Now, if you delete a lot of files over time, the recycle bin is going to fill up. It won't get totally full, but it will just fill up with files. After a while, what you might want to do is empty the recycle bin. So very similar to taking out the garbage, to empty the recycle bin, you go to the icon and you can right click and empty recycle bin. Very easy. So you just go over to the recycle bin icon, right click, and click empty recycle bin. Okay, so very straightforward. File recovery. So if for whatever reason you deleted a file, and again, we went over this last video, so I won't go over it too much, but if you do delete a file that you need back or that you did not mean to delete, you can go right into the recycle bin. So you can left click twice. So we're going to click twice with the left click, 1, 2. And there's all the files that I've deleted. So you can actually select a file, right click the file, and select restore. Okay? And that will bring the file right back to where you had it before. Okay, guys? So very straightforward. It'll put the file back right exactly where it was. So if you ever delete anything, don't be afraid. there's always a way to get it back if you're using a Windows computer. Okay, on a MacBook or an Apple computer, it's going to be very similar. So on Apple computers, which are running what's called Mac OS or Mac operating system, there will be on the bottom right. So we have a taskbar here, right, for Windows. Apple or Mac has a dock. It's called a dock. Okay, so on the dock, and I will show you guys very quickly. So on the dock, right, which is very similar to the taskbar. So this is on an Apple computer. This is the dock, and you guys will see right here, over here on the right hand side, there's a little trash bin. So very similar. If you delete something, it'll go to the trash bin. You want to go to the trash bin, left click to open, and then you can restore your files if you lost anything. Okay. So again, something we talked about last video, how to maximize a window and how to minimize it. So not going to go over it too much. So right now my window is not full, as you guys can see, so I'm going to maximize it. Again, it's just this little square up here. As you guys can see, it's just a little square box. We're going to click on it, and it fills my screen. Now all of my screen is full. Okay, if I want to minimize it, right, so if we want to put the window right down here, we're going to use this little line, and we're going to minimize it. Okay. And again, at the very top here, as we talked about earlier, we can close a window by clicking this red X up here. Okay, now once we're done with our computer, it's very important that if you guys are using a desktop computer or a laptop, don't press the power button to turn it off. Okay, so the correct way of doing it every time is you go down here. So we're going to go bottom left. So we're going to go to our taskbar. Okay. We're going to go to our taskbar. We're going to left click on start. And then if you guys are using different computers, right, so you could be using a different Windows version, or maybe you're using Mac or a Chromebook, so it may be different. But for those of you that are using Windows computers, when you go to start will always be in the same place, which is this bottom left corner. Okay, for Windows 7, 8, and 10 users, you'll see this little power button, right? So you'll left click power, and then you'll left click shut down. Okay, and that will turn the computer off. If you click restart, it will turn everything off, and then it'll turn it right back on. Okay, and sleep, it will just put the computer in a sleep mode, right? So it saves some energy, saves some power, but just by clicking any button or pushing any key on your keyboard, you can get the computer back up and running again. Okay, guys? So we're not going to shut down. If you're using a different version, older version of Windows, you guys will see the start menu down here will look different. So this is your start menu, but you'll click, and then on the right hand side over here will be a little button that'll say, I believe, shut off with a little arrow. And that's how you shut down. Okay, and again, this is I just covered this part here. So the start button, the restart, and the sleep. So what all that does. Okay, we talked about the USB port last video, so again I won't touch on that too much. And these are the ones that I kind of wanted to talk about just to end this lesson. So this one will be a short one. Next one's going to be a little more in depth, and it will have you guys doing a little bit more stuff. But for now, this is what I wanted to just focus on. The next video will hopefully be coming out on Wednesday or Friday. You guys will be getting an email, but probably Wednesday, as we start getting through July. Okay, but I'll just very briefly talk about portable hard drives. So again, I showed you guys in the last video, it's known as a USB memory stick. It can also be called a thumb drive or a jump drive. And these are the different companies that make them. So you guys, if you guys have one, you can look on it. It's probably one of these brands. So these are just different brands, right? So this is like a car. this is like a BMW, Honda, Ford. So these are just the companies that make them, right? So Kingston, Lexar, SanDisk, okay? And when you're putting the USB, if it's a USB memory stick or any kind of USB into the USB port, it only goes in one way, right? So if you're having to push very hard, it probably means that you have to flip it or turn it one way or another, okay? Now, when you're done with a USB, so I'll give you guys an example. So if you were to put a USB into your computer, it would open up, you'll be able to see files and everything. Let me just see, I have a USB right here that I can show you guys. So if I put my USB in my computer, so I'm going to put my USB in my computer right now. Okay, oh, sorry guys. See, it only goes in one way. If it gives you trouble, you have to switch it. So this is my USB. I've got some movies on it. But once you're done using your USB, so you're going to close it, and don't pull it out of the computer. It is very, very bad if you just pull it out. The important thing and what you're going to want to do, and I'll show you guys here. Okay. So on the bottom left of your computer, bottom right of your computer, you guys will see here a little arrow. Now it's not showing on my computer because this is my other monitor, but I will show you guys just very briefly. When you click that little arrow, okay, it will pop up and it will say something like this. Let me see if I can show you guys. Okay, I may have to show you here. Okay, so these are the different versions of Windows that I was telling you guys about. Okay, so for example, this one looks like it's either Windows Vista or Windows 7. So you'll see a little arrow like this. You'll want to click on the arrow. Whoops, sorry about that. You'll want to left click on the arrow, and then you'll see a little icon that looks like this. It's almost like a little USB with a green check mark on it. It's a green circle and it's got a little check mark on it. It looks like this. So you'll want to click on that, okay? And then you'll want to choose your USB and hit safely remove. Okay? And what that will do is the computer is making sure that your USB cannot be damaged. Okay? So here's another version. This is either Windows 8 or Windows 10, as you guys can see here. So again, here's a little arrow. Okay, so you just left click on that little arrow and it'll open up. It might look something like this. Something like this, where you guys can see this like little USB icon. Okay, you're going to right click on that. Okay, once you right click on that, you're going to get something like this. And you're going to get this little line. It says eject. Eject USB mass storage device. Okay, so you're going to want to click on that, left click on that, and then you'll get a little message that says something like this: safe to remove hardware. At that point, you guys can pull your USB out of your computer. Okay, and that will just ensure that you guys don't have any damaged files, that you don't lose any information, and that your USB or your memory, USB memory storage will remain in working order or in working condition. Okay. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. So these, again, this first and second lessons are mainly just to get you guys familiar with all the words that we're going to be using, right? So things like maximize, minimize, left click, right click, sleep, USB, you know, all of those things that we've gone over in lesson 1 and this lesson will help us in lesson 3 as we get into more complicated terms and into more complicated exercises. Okay, As always, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to message me. You can email me, and I will see you guys on Wednesday with the next lesson. Have a great day, everybody.